Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy D Mike, the creator. Hey, I wanted to touch on my journey of going through my own awakening, um, going through spiritual warfare, and also dealing with narcissistic environments. And the reason why, because man, I woke up this rising with a heavy heart. It's actually raining right now. The rain was not even in the forecast up until later on tonight. I view that as a sign for me to speak like I'm supposed to be doing this right now, because that's a reason. This was supposed to be like an excuse, like the rain, or whether it be excuse not to speak. But I love when things like this happens because it just gives me more confirmation. Um, but I wanted to just talk to you guys at a more on a deeper level about my experience of going through these things, narcissistic environments, people, um, going through spiritual warfare. And, my journey really kind of took off within like the past 2 years when it kind of really like took off on a more conscious level where I was able to be more aware of these things that go on um, within our environments, and a lot of times it's very normalized, right? It's normalized with the all this warfare that we all encounter. Me personally, I really don't like to talk too much about it because I don't like to sit in the negative vibrations. But when I was in Virginia, one thing I did learn, and I'm gonna talk on this on a different topic, was to transcend. You can transcend your environment from a mental aspect, right? Understanding that whenever we do change, evolve in life, you can be able to be in certain environments that hasn't changed with you, because not everything is supposed to change with you, because your path is your own path, but you can still be able to be in environments and do what you do and allow, or not even allow, um, be at peace with the things that are, because they are. You know what I mean? We can't force change on anything, person, place, right? It just is. It will change, um, just due to the natural frequencies of whether it be your presence or the environment itself. But I want to touch on, like I say, my journey to kind of like give more insight of what I witnessed, experienced, seen. Like I said, 2 years ago, and I'm not going to touch on like too many specifics. For the people that might know, they know. If not, really, it's all about getting the point. But I had encountered individuals that were trying to help me out. I had lost a few jobs within like 6 months. Never got fired before in my life, or even on the verge of getting fired. One of the jobs I quit before I can get fired because like I'm like, well, I didn't see the point in living in fear at work to do certain things for them. It didn't make sense to me. And so like looking back at it now, I can see that my consciousness, vibrations, frequency, whatever you want to call it, was rising then. And it was very interesting time. But like I was saying, I got into to encounter with people that helped me out, and then it wasn't help. It was help for them. They hurt me, and me personally, I actually feel sad for them, like more empathetic for them, because they obviously had holes within themselves, um, that I filled up for them. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm grateful for that encounter because I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through those trials, those tribulations, um, to become and see and know how strong I actually am. And only getting stronger from here, right? But once I realized that, I lost jobs, I was just trying to figure out what is going on, you know what I mean? And, these individuals, I come to a conclusion because I actually was unalive. I resurrected. I was unalive and I was resurrected. If you know, you know. It's very difficult to explain, but people. That was my first encounter with black magic. I don't. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't really too aware of like voodoo, hoodoo, all that stuff. I was just focused on just presenting love that's in me to my environments. That's how I live my life. It's just through love. And people might see that as naive, which is fine. Like I like to be naive for the Creator, God, the Most High, whatever you want to call it, Source. Because me personally, I believe if you have that good intent, obviously people are going to try to knock you off your rails, but with that good intent, you know, nothing outside of you can really harm you. If that makes sense. Like if you know that you are protected, then you are protected. If you believe that you need certain things to protect you, then that's your thing. By just walking away is a little different, with the utmost faith in this creation that we live in. But yeah, I got into some interactions, get some interactions with some people. They dabbled into black magic. Um, I didn't see it at first because like I saw these people. They had people would call them issues or problems, but like I'm just looking at a person that's hurt. This person hurt them. Now they're trying to hurt me to make them feel the way they felt. And I got into a point where I wanted to unalive myself. And like I realized they would try to unalive me, and I was like, man, I don't want to be here anymore because like why are these people trying to do this to me? You know what I mean? And then I remember saying that, and people have a very peculiar way of showing what's in them. And what I mean by that is this is a spiritual world we live in. Like I'm not sure if you believe in that or supernatural, but there is energies that we all can be able to live in, or frequencies we can be able to live in, invite into our vessels. And one of the energies that I've become very accustomed to from you know childhood up until now is like the Jezebel entity, or like a narcissistic entity. I'm not sure if you ever heard of like the narcissistic smirk. Like they always have like a little devious smirk whenever they think they're getting some over on you. You'll see it too. Like it's like a very subtle smirk. Um, and it'll make you wonder like what's really going. You know what I mean? Like what are you doing? But I'm also like a master at playing dumb too, and like playing things out to see how far it goes, which it puts myself in a hole, but at the same time I get stronger out of it too. Um, but that's one thing I realized though is that I do attract these things because the origins, like the origins of me, came out of these narcissistic environments. Like my hometown is full of it's full of these dark things. You know what I mean? And I believe the light can exist in a dark space, which was why they were since probably birth. I'm not sure. More than likely, though, it's just these entities are in these vessels, people, right? And they feed off of individuals' lights, whether it be like, kindness, um, their pureness, and then people change. People have choices over time. We all have choices that we can make, whether we go the higher side, the lower side, um, because we know after time like what's right and what's wrong, right? But just looking at my past, I could see the individuals. Like I say, family is one of the main things too. Like families, they have these, you know, entities within them. So another thing too, I love people. Like I love the person. They can hurt me, I still love them. Because I know if they hurt me, it's not them that's really hurting me. It's the thing that's in them, right? And that's something I do believe. I believe we can have energies in us that control us, that we allow to control us after a certain amount of years, if people do dabble with those dark, entities. So and like I say, these are choices we all get to make over time. Choices we get to make. We get to choose, right? What will you do for X, Y, or Z? You know what I mean? But like I say, going through this, um, like in my head, like where I came from, where I'm at now, and I realized that I mentally I put myself in a hell, right? Trying to help people out, wanting to help people out, and people, they use me. People get used all the time for um, things they want. They see individuals that want to help out, so they're going to manipulate you to get you to think the way they think, for their greater good, which could be bad for somebody else. But excuse me. But yeah, just looking back at these things, like I say, families full of narcissists, warlocks, witches, demon, whatever you want to call it. But I still love them because regardless of the flesh, his family, something in them is trying to, whether it be manipulate or get to my light. If that makes sense, right? And I do believe that we all have a physical and like a soul family, but I don't think, in my opinion, we're supposed to vacate our physical, our birth family after, if you are like me, where you're born into these, people call them karmic families, whether they're full of narcissistic energies, that feed off of individuals to keep certain things hidden within the environment for their greater good. um, I don't believe that we're supposed to vacate them. I'm supposed to believe that we were at some point leave those environments to see or find things that resonate with us, but also come back to be able to, I guess you call it, face your fears, right? Because a lot of people nowadays, what they do is they'll leave and they'll never come back because they got hurt, right? And then they don't want to come back because they don't want to get hurt again. But we learn how to regulate our nervous system over a certain amount of time in these different environments, but we can be able to come back and do that same thing that we did away and bring it back to the place that did hurt us to heal it, because that's love, right? And love also, you can be, love it. You get hurt from loving people, places and things. Um, but obviously, there's boundaries too. There are boundaries. It's just not neglecting them. So, um, going back to the noticing I was in these environments, like 2 years ago, allow these people to help me out because I needed the help. Then realized they was doing some black magic, dark stuff that I was, like I said, I wasn't aware of it. I feel sorry for them because like I love them and I want them to, heal from the things that hurt them, which is why they wanted to hurt me, because I'm full. I would just pour it into others opposed to pouring into myself first and then helping them with my overflow. But it's very difficult to be in these shoes where you can be able to be so aware of these environments that do these dark things. And like I say, specifics is not really important. It's just a point, and still choose love. It's over time you get pretty good at being so empathetic. You can put yourself in those shoes and understand that these individuals were taught this somewhere down the road, somewhere down their bloodline, right? You just try to find the origin and go deeper and deeper and deeper and figure out where did it go left opposed to right, because that's how we keep on teaching certain things that are not that could be better, that could be done in a better way, right? And been healing myself the way that I wanted to, like just choosing joy, things that I used to do when I was a child, um, growing up, anything that brought me joy. That's what I've been healing myself. How I've been healing myself, right? And one thing that I touched on, I was thinking about on my other social media when I was on TikTok. I talked about how uh, you know you guys call him Jesus. Most people call him Jesus. I like to say Yahweh or Yeshua. Reason why, because the letter J is the newest letter in the alphabet. It's the most recent letter in the alphabet. If you haven't heard about that, just look it up. You can Google it if you want to. But so I like to say Yeshua out of that story. But if you think about it, think about how in that story, how first of all he only had 12 followers, and now there's a whole like it's, it's comical to me. It's like a whole following now, like whole religion. That's another topic that I might touch on later on. But you know, people shunned him when he was thinking differently from others, right? People shun him for that. People wanted him to think a certain way because sometimes change is scary, right? Especially in environments that are very resistant for change, because change exposes some things as well, right? Change exposes the dark things that are in those areas. Like, so imagine you put yourself in his shoes. Imagine that you had so much love for individuals, knowing that they still would betray you, hurt you when you're just speaking your truth. Imagine knowing this thing, right? And still continue to walk in the flames, walk in the fire, walk in the darkness, because he was the light. Put yourself in those shoes. Be empathetic for a little bit with me, right? Imagine going, I like to use this story because I lived it when I was in a city. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where these two were essentially outsiders in the city, and they were being casted out because of their consciousness, right? Like when I was in this city, I was me personally, I was poisoned. Um, was unalived, been resurrected, observed things, people, places that was trying to continue to do these things after the first attempt. And I'm observing, wondering why. And then keep in mind, I'm at a place where I I literally died. I was unalived and I resurrected. Right? I was in the kitchen trying to reach for the door, passed out, and I woke up. The people that were around me and they were telling me I had a seizure, I had a seizure. I'm like, if I had a seizure, why aren't you taking me to the hospital? Why are y'all looking scared that this attempt wasn't successful? I'm scared. You know, I'm scared. I need to go outside and get some fresh air. When I did that, I said that. I'm trying to crawl, scoot to the door. They was afraid, like, no, you just stand up. I need to get some fresh air, man. I'm not trying to tell nobody nothing. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at right now. I'm in hell, right? I was like, I'm like, dang, people really be like this, trying to harm me. Like, why? I'm trying to figure out why, and I still love you, you know. So imagine being in those shoes, being around individuals, being around these people that were hurt before, still trying to love them, but you're still getting hurt at the same time. So I realized, after that point was cut to early this year, around like January, start of this year, like I was just healing myself and just trying to figure out, like, I came because I left that environment. I left and I came back home. And first of all, when I came back home, because I was in a bigger city, and I came back to my hometown, I felt like I traveled back in time. I felt like a time traveler because, like, being in a bigger city and coming back to a small town, um, the pace is obviously huge difference. Um, the technology, big gap. The things that are old in the new city, or the bigger city, or new in the older city, and you're looking around and people are like, now we just got this, everybody decided. I'm like, I seen that like almost a year ago. I was out there in the city I was at a year ago, you know. Um, but no, it was interesting just observing that. And then early this year, like I was saying, um, I started becoming more aware, like these people are hurting me, and I was aware of it, more vigilant of it, more conscious of it. Then, like, coming back home, seeing, like, my family observe and monitor, and I'm like, the spirit that's in you or in these individuals too. You know what I mean? I saw a bird. I'm not kind of bird that is right there, but I'm like, the spirit that's in you or in these individuals too. I'm like, why is that? But you love me. I'm just trying to figure out more and more, trying to understand more and more of this, especially in this reality. How is this don't really make sense to me? So um earlier this year, around June or July, actually, I had went on a car camping trip. Called it Soul Series because it was my Soul Series. I was documenting along the way, um, I traveled through 14 states from Alabama all the way over to the West Coast, California, went up north, Washington, all the way back over to the East Coast, or Midwest, East Coast, and now I'm back here, back in Alabama. But while I was traveling through the states, that's when first of all, I learned how to regulate my nervous system and these different energies of each place. Each place brought something different out of me from a creative aspect, mental aspect, and I started to see, like, obviously beyond the veil of what we were taught growing up. Started seeing two worlds at once coincide with one another. Just started to see, and you know, it was interesting, like the physical world, the spiritual world, seeing all this spiritual warfare. I'm seeing tons of cars unmarked, no license plate, every state I go through. Start seeing people literally getting looked like possessed in front of me, like a spirit entered their body in front of me. Like their eyes roll to the back of their head, and I'm talking to them, having a conversation. All of a sudden, they just roll to the back. I'm like, I don't comment. I'm just observing, because I'm just like, can't be real, but it is, right? Um, because I realized that once, because every state it was something like trying to keep me in a fear mindset, a fearful state, right? Because I'm at a point now, I'm not afraid of anything. Like I'm not afraid of death. I already did. I was unalive. It was attempted. Literally resurrected. Like I just remember it was pitch black dark. Came back. What is going on? Um, but it was trying to instill or keep me in a fearful state, because that's how, in this reality, that's how these entities or these dark forces, whatever you want to call it, that's how they feed off of us, right? Keep us in a fearful state, right? And that's why I choose joy, because joy is it's higher up on the frequency scale, if you're not familiar with it, or the energy scale. And I just I just believe that we're all supposed to live in that frequency, you know. So just seeing all this spiritual warfare, it was very tough to articulate. Sometimes you really can't even articulate it. Just that's why I just, like I said, I just observe it, trying to see why or who or what is trying to provoke me to get in a certain state. Because that's what it is. I mean, it's because once you know nothing can really affect you, it takes time to get there. Really, because we affect ourselves. We allow things to enter us, and then that's how we get on like a spiral, right? We allow these things. Sometimes it just takes time to get control of it, have discipline, but to be able to not allow ourselves to get in these vibrations or frequencies, because we all have a choice. But like I say, traveling through the states, seeing all this spiritual warfare, realizing that everything is really mental, right? Because like once you become super conscious, you can understand that your inner world creates your outer world, and once you are able to control your thoughts, your emotions, and put that energy into a bucket that you want to place it in, you can be able to create your conscious reality. Because in the beginning, I feel like we all are creating. Obviously, some are different than others based on environments, families, situations. We're creating our reality from an unconscious standpoint or a conscious standpoint. But like just my heart was just super heavy just thinking about, like I say, the story, like the parables of Yeshua, Sodom and Gomorrah, and like just the empathy towards, like I say, the characters in those stories with all that love, and the individuals that are not able to be empathetic or not understand these outsiders want to harm them, unalive them. And I was like, I'm lived this story right now. Like the text is coming to life because it is a spell, right? It is a spell. That's what it is. We call it spelling words. It is a spell that has come to life. And if this resonates with you, let me know in the comment section. But these are what these are. Like this is our reality, and it is very beautiful though. It can be very beautiful. Sometimes it takes time to understand why these things happen to us, but really it happens for us. And sometimes we do understand, sometimes we don't understand. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because some people are not able to talk about it. I realize that in these environments that's full of narcissism, um, these dark energies, people are silenced. People are afraid to speak up, right? And I don't want to be a voice that doesn't get heard, or I want to speak up for the people that don't know how to become heard or afraid to speak up, because everybody's voice matters. Everybody's story matters. Everybody's story is true, right? And I had to make sure it was still playing. But everybody's story is true. So I wanted to talk about this, create a space, um, because these things happen to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people are afraid to talk about it. A lot of people get shunned for talking about it, silenced, whether it be challenged, whether they're not here with us anymore, or they, like I say, their voice, they don't want to talk about it. And like just observing, like I say, my life and looking back, and I can see all of that play out. I can like traveling the states. In every state I come in contact with some very very nice people, and I can see these people. Some people are afraid to speak up. Some people are afraid of those, like I say, dark energies because of the environment, because of what's been going on for so long, right? We all can sense it. We all can sense that change is around the corner. Um, but we have to go through these times now to create, really to get rid of the old foundation to create a new foundation, so we can then start building on top of that, right? Just like the phoenix, it dies in its ashes and it's then reborn again. Now we're just becoming reborn in a better foundation, right? As a whole. So, like with these narcissistic environments, like the spiritual warfare, like if you experience these things, let me know in the comment section. Like this video. Um, Let me know if you have any questions that I can be able to even expand on and create more videos of, because this is something I like to talk about. Really, I like to think a little deeper. Like to express myself. I like to talk and help others, and I feel like this is a platform I can be able to help others on, and be able to help people understand how to navigate this, how to get through it, because I overcame it, and a lot of people like myself have overcome it. Some people talk about it. I love that. Some people are not able to talk about it, and I just want to be a voice for those individuals that do not know how to speak up about these. So, like my video, comment, share it. Thank you so much for tuning in, first of all, and checking this out. Hopefully you were able to learn something from this. That's really the main thing about it, is just teaching people about it. It's beautiful when it rains. Me personally, I love it. It's almost like a cleansing. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Y'all take care. Peace.